Hello and welcome to my second Magic the Gathering Online playtest video. Right now I am loaded up with my Hedron Ascension, my Pyromancer Ascension deck with Hedron Crab as my deck of choice. A few things about this deck. 4 copies of Hedron Crab, which with the fetch lands fill your graveyard up extremely fast for a Pyromancer Ascension. The goal is to use your Hedron Crab to fill your graveyard up, and then every spell you cast will trigger Pyromancer Ascension's quest counter trigger. Other features of the deck are this card Stagger Shock. When you have a Stagger Shock in your graveyard and a Pyromancer Ascension out, casting a single Stagger Shock will give you 2 quest counters for 3 mana. The other card that will do that would be Steady Progress, but in this deck I chose to go with a little extra removal and what ends up being an incredibly powerful board control spell with Pyroclasm. I also have a 3rd copy of Call to Mind instead of 2, because with Hedron Crab you can expect a lot of cards to hit your graveyard, and it would be extremely unfortunate to be lacking your actual kill condition. The other thing about Hedron Crab is it can be used on your opponent, either against Memoricide or just in situations where you need to deck them. There you go. Jace Beleren is also a feature of this deck. I went up from 1 copy of Jace Beleren and 4 copies of Call to Mind to a more reasonable 3 and 2 split after Twitter user GRAT, I think 2717. I'm sorry, I don't remember your numbers. GRAT9717 on Twitter had been playing around with this deck too, and recommended taking out the 4th Call to Mind. In the sideboard, you have 3 Pyroclasm, 4 Negate, 1 more Jace Beleren, 3 Into the Royal, and 4 Flash Freeze. The other thing about this deck is the mana base. It's not ideal right now. I have Arid Mesas instead of Misty Rainforests. I would like to add in at least 2 Misty Rainforests, either cutting Arid Mesas or cutting Islands. I'm not sure. The other change from my last brewery post for this deck list is adding another Halimar Depths into the main deck in place of a mountain. I found that I was drawing too many red lands, and I think perhaps if I took out 2 Arid Mesas for 2 Misty Rainforests or something of the sort, the mana base would end up being just about perfect. So I'm going to stop this here and go load up a game in the tournament practice room. Hopefully it'll be a good matchup. Hopefully it'll be something that is entertaining, and hope you enjoy it. Thanks a lot. Alright, let's see if this video finally works now. I've been trying for the last hour or so, 2 hours, to just record a single video. No, I would not like to mulligan, although this is not the strongest hand against certain decks. I guess I won the die roll, so I'll play my Scouting Tarn first to protect against a turn 1 Goblin Guide, or a turn 1 Llanowar Elf, Birds of Paradise, anything of the sort. And let's see if he's playing Blue-White Control. He does, and he preordains. Puts 2 cards on top. So I'm not going to activate my Scouting Tarn. The game against Blue-White Control is all about outlasting them. You have a better threat in Pyromancer Ascension. And there you go. The goal here is to basically just make a land drop every turn. The first person to start casting a bunch of spells is usually the one that ends up losing, because as soon as you start tapping out, the threats from both decks are just so strong. And making land drops helps get you out of mana leak range and all sorts of things like that. So you're not going to see me casting very many spells. I'm mostly just going to be drawing cards, playing lands. I'll pass the turn here again. I could cast Sea Beyond here, although I would rather not have to crack my fetch lands to counter something. Okay, you are allowed, sir. Okay. Now I do have a choice, though. I will go ahead and crack 1 fetch land. And I'll cast my Stagger Shock on him. He doesn't have any creatures. He might have Wall of Omens. No real threats for me to have to worry about. But I will cast it again, of course. 4 damage is indeed twice as much as 2. Play Scalding Tarn, and go ahead and cast Sea Beyond. Again, I just want to make land drops turn after turn after turn. Probably shuffling back in the Lightning Bolt. And yes, indeed. And there we go. One moment, I'm sorry about this. Twitter occasionally just goes a little crazy toward me. Alright. Business as usual, play a land, pass a turn. At some point, I will start trying to force through 4 Cs. I think now is that time. Okay, you are allowed. Just trying to draw out all of his counter spells, draw out all of his resources, and just win a long attrition battle. This match should go for a long time. They often go to time, all 30 minutes on the clock. And Jace the Mind Sculptor, not what I'd like to see here. I have a few options, though. I can mentally get anyway. Force him to tap out, and I think that's what I'm going to lean towards doing here. Because if he brainstorms, I do have the opportunity to that's not ideal. Main deck Spell Pierce. Well, maybe it's ideal for... Yeah, see, that was a mistake. I should have kept the last Scalding Tarn up. I'll cast my 4C, which, interestingly enough, does more than his Jace Bellerin did last turn. Hedron Crab on the bottom. Oh, actually, Hedron Crab's pretty sick here. Oh, but he's also probably got dead removal in his hand that he's... Yeah, bottom... I'm in a bit of a bind right here. I don't really know. Alright. Go ahead and just pass. No. I'll have to try and force through another 4C, I think. Alright, now Jace the Mind Sculptor probably just wins the game. This card is just so powerful. Preordain, another amazing card here. Let's see what he chooses to do. Card on the bottom, and a card on top. I don't like that.